Tim Moore here with TLC Pressure Washing, and this is kind of a follow-up on the deck that we cleaned. And originally they were wanting something clear. They wanted to look like natural wood, like the day that either I got done cleaning it or the day they put it in. And the only thing I have access to, because of it's the best product out there, is Baker's Grayway. And the UV stain, or the clear stain, is really not UV resistant like most people would want, where you put it on and it looks that way for 5 or 6 years or 3 or 4 years, and it looks like that the day I walk off after cleaning. So they had decided on one that had more pigments in it, and then they contacted me and say, we found this, can you put this on? And it was something called Flood, F-L-O-O-D, and supposedly it's a clear UV protectant, etc., etc. And it's something I'd never heard of. And this is the thing. There's a couple of things. Number one, you always want to make your customer happy. So a lot of times people will get into a bad situation because they'll do stuff that they are not comfortable with just to make the customer happy. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll put whatever you want on it instead of buying it. And I don't make any money on the stain, so that wasn't really, it's not like I'm gonna make $100 by selling them stain, because I don't make anything on stain. I pass the stain along at cost, and they're paying me for my expertise and labor. So anyway, I had to politely decline, because it's something I am not familiar with. I've never laid that, and this is the scenario. You may put that down and it may look like $1 million, and they may be deliriously happy and it work out fantastic. 10 years from now, it may still look the same. Or what could happen is they buy the cheapest shit and you turn around, put it on, it looks like crap, or it looks good today and in 2 years it's grayed out, and they're like, man, that thing didn't last hardly at all, and they want you to try to fix it. And it's worse if you turn around and go, all right, it looks great today, they're happy, in a couple of years it grays out, and you're like, well, I told you I didn't think it would work or last as long as you want, and they're not as happy, but they're not mad at you. If it lays crappy and it looks like crap tomorrow after you lay it, they're going to be real unhappy. And unfortunately at that point, because you've touched it, it's become your job, and you're kind of responsible in a way to fix it. And if you refuse, which you should, of course, because it wasn't your deal, you've got an unhappy customer. Whether it's your fault or their fault or the manufacturer's fault, it still lays on you, and you're spending your time and money to fix a mess up. So I tend to find that telling a customer no in certain circumstances in the long run is better. Mainly because if they screw it up, it's on them. If they pick a crappy Thompson's water seal because they read online that, oh, it's the best stuff and it works great, and it's going to beat up and slide off, and years from now it's going to look like the day you put it in, and it doesn't, well, it's on them because they put it on. That's one of the reasons why we give 3 quotes. We give a quote for cleaning and prepping, whether we do it or not, it's the same process. I'm not going to cut corners just because they're going to put it on. It's going to be prepped just like I'm going to be laying it, so I know it's prepped properly. Then we get a price for actual putting a stain on, and it would be a Baker's Grayway, and then the cost of the Baker's Grayway. So anyway, this customer, really nice folks, they ended up putting it on themselves, and it looks okay. I just looked at it. It looks okay. It's a little darker than they wanted, and I don't know how long it's going to last. It may last a year, it may last 2 years, it may not last a month. Some of the reviews I saw on it were kind of questionable in people being disappointed with how long it would last. So at that point, I don't know. The only way I would know for sure is for me to go get a piece of wood, clean it and prep it, buy a gallon of it, slap it on, stick it out in the yard and go, all right, go for it. And, you know, keep an eye on it, and in a year, if it looks good, great. If in 2 years it looks good, great. If it looks crappy in 6 months, it's gonna be like, well, that's the reason why I don't do that. So, sometimes you have to learn when to say no and to walk away from jobs. That's also mainly the reason why I suggest people not do stuff that they're uncomfortable with. I lay Baker's Gray away because the guy that sells it tells me it's idiot proof. In other words, it's very difficult for me to screw it up. I mean, I can literally dump a bunch on it and accidentally pour 5 gallons on a deck, you know, smooth it out, and it's not going to look any different, you know, because it's only so much is going to adhere to and soak into the wood, and the rest of it's not going to make a bad puddle, even if you puddle it under most circumstances, except for the really dark pigment colors. So anyway, that's kind of the deal. We didn't do the staining, which is fine. We got paid for the cleaning, which is good. And we'll see how it works out. I told her to please keep me informed because I want to know, and I'm going to probably buy a gallon of it and give it a shot and just kind of see how it does. That particular deck took 4 gallons, whereas Baker's Gray Away should have taken about 10 gallons for that square footage, so I thought that was kind of interesting. 4 versus 10, that's a big difference in amount of product that supposedly is soaked into the wood. But anyway, like I said, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. That's one of the reasons why, you know, we are willing to say no to a customer and not do something, because people will find the craziest stuff, and you know, the people at Sherwin-Williams say, oh yeah, this is great, and I use this on all my stuff, and it lasts forever, because they're trying to sell the crap. I'm not trying to sell Baker's Gray Away because I'm not making any money on it. I'm just trying to sell a stain job, or technically I'm trying to sell a happy customer. Happy customer is one that's not mad at me because I did something I'm not comfortable with or don't know anything about. Anyway, 10 more TLC Pressure version.